Welcome to Unfiltered Hummingbird. I am your host, Camellia. Hey, we're going to unpack some questions, interview some guests, have a little fun together. Come on, let's get to it. Part 4 about outliving and outlasting the struggle is going to be action. Sometimes we have our ride or die friends, right? These are our friends that say, I'm your ride or die friend. I'm going to be there for you regardless, right? These are your friends that you can count on them through thick and thin. You can count on them in any circumstance, in any situation. Well, life sometimes will hand you some pretty crazy situations and some pretty crazy circumstances. And how we choose is going to determine the outcome. So choosing wisely is an important aspect of outliving this struggle, because we always have to be mindful of how we're going to react. What is our response going to be in order to get the anticipated outcome that we would like, right? So in our life episodes that happen, these events that happen, some we cause full transparency. Some of them we did to ourselves. Some of them we know exactly why it happened. There's always going to be a cause and an effect, right? And some situations, unfortunately, will not be to our doing. We didn't do anything. Like little kids say, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Sometimes life does happen that way, unfortunately. Even in those situations, we still have to be mindful of our responses, on what our response will be. Because who likes to be in a struggle? Who likes to be hanging like on a bungee cord with no hope of somebody coming to get you or pulling you up from that bungee cord, right? Our hope is that this trouble is not going to last long. My great aunt, my grandma used to always say, my mom used to say, this too will pass. Trouble don't last always. And yes, but sometimes it sure is hard going through it, right? So even when we're going through it, our responses, our words that we say, the words that we don't say, how we act, will determine the outcome. So think about it. We have the event, life episode, circumstance, situation, whatever it is. Fill in the blank, because we all have our own stuff, right? And then we're responsible. We're accountable for our responses to those events. What are we going to say? What are we going to do? What do we need to do? Will it take care of itself? So sometimes it will. And sometimes it will require us to have an action in order for us to get that outcome of what we want. Because think about it. When stuff happens in our life, the first thing, I don't know about y'all, but the first thing I think about is, how do I get out of this mess? How long will it last? Traffic, something simple as traffic. Oh my goodness, this traffic goes on for miles. How do I get off? How do I get out of this traffic? You immediately go and start looking up ways or trying to figure out how you can get off and find a different shortcut, right? Well, the same thing, the same mindset happens to us in regards to episodes and events that happen in our life. Our responses, sometimes they're quick, and sometimes it might take us back. It might sit us down. It might make us just get quiet. And our responses, my friends, will be different based on the season in life that we're in. My response is going to be totally different than when I was in my 20s or my 30s or my 40s or my 50s. They're going to be completely different, and they should, right? I'm not going to handle things in my 20s like I'm going to handle when I'm 50. I bet not. That shows no growth at all. There should be some type of difference that you see, some type of growth that it shows that I am handling things differently because I want a different response. I want a different outcome. So I have to be mindful of my response. So I have to think about my action. What is my action? What do I need to do? So I'm always thinking about what my action is in order to get out of this struggle, in order to get outlasted, right? So when we're thinking about how we choose, always be mindful not only of how we choose with our words, but how we choose with our behavior, our reactions. That is also a response, verbally or non-verbally. So we have to be mindful of those two things, that we're always thinking about our action. Because faith without works is dead. Don't expect anything if you don't have any action behind it. And action equals works. Works can be not doing anything. Does that make sense? Works can't be not doing anything. You know you need to do something, but you're actively making a choice not to do something. That's still a response. And if you think not doing anything is going to get you a different outcome than what you anticipate, I really want you to think again. Or think another way. Or ask your friend, or ask your ride or die friend that we talked about earlier at the beginning of the show. Your ride or die friend, and everybody needs that friend to be like, nope, I don't. You shouldn't do that. You out of order. And if it's not your friend, and your friend might be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, might be your husband. Mine's my husband. He'll be like, Camellia, you out. Take responsibility for that. You did that. You need somebody who's going to help you course correct when you are wrong. Kudos to those of us who have those people in our lives. If you don't have those people in your lives, get you one. Get you one. You probably came across one and you didn't like what they said, so you don't talk to them anymore. So that doesn't matter. Be accountable. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable to make wise choices. Always have an action, and your action should be in correlation to that outcome that you want to happen. Think of it. I talked about being in a traffic jam, but think about it if you want to go back to school. If you want to go back to school, you're gonna apply for the application. Submit your application to the college. Get accepted. Get the books. Go to class. Make the grades. Get your degree. In order for you to get the degree, you have to go. The degree is not just going to show up at your doorstep with your name on it. No, you got to have a what? An action. An action behind it. So, all right. That's part 4. Action. Choose wisely. All right. That's all we have for today. Join me next time on Unfiltered Hummingbird. I am your host, Camellia. Until then, have a blessed day.